That's what they've announced, is they want this new Bank of the World with an SDR QE 34 to 100 digital system, and then the countries all agree under the world system that will still have euros and dollars, but it'll be denominated and its value set by that central clearinghouse in the name of ending the currency war.
Right, but still what I'm saying is speculative is it going to be real? I cannot believe that the Fed right now, which rules the world financially because of its control over the dollar and its ability to inflate at will, whether in computer dollars or whether in physical dollars, they're going to give up that power and actually yield to a committee that decides the inflation rate and how many each nation. I just don't believe it. Now, so that means that if they do this, the Fed will still control it, only they'll simply do it as if, in other words, they'll use puppets on the committee, and the Fed will still control it. It may be their way of buying a few more years to continue to inflate under the promise that we're being responsible now, that the G20 is making the decision and not the Fed. It may
No,
be
I totally
way.
agree, and it's bringing in another layer of bureaucracy and, kind of a power-sharing thing and a bridge towards the world government. That's actually pretty much, from reading in the aggregate their statements, Joel, what you said is pretty much what they're saying this is. But also, talking about the dollar dying is also a way to kind of scapegoat the idea of America, like somehow America is the only arbiter of all these problems, the progenitor. But it also goes towards your point. They claim they're all working together, and they certainly do work at certain levels in councils when they can. But there really are these three different power blocks who are fighting with each other. They use the same methodology and sciences of control, and they have the same psychopathic sadist tropisms that make it look like they're all of one feather. But really, it is three different distinct systems.
That's correct. That's correct. And even within the Western system, for example, Italy, Spain, Germany, France, all of them have different levels of socialism within their government and different needs to finance their social democracy. And that's one of the problems with the euro working is that, Spain says, I got to have more money than you need, Germany, because you don't have the same social welfare system that we have. And the whole world is all different in that, and that's why it's so very difficult to all live under one inflation standard, which is what is required when you have, a world currency and a supposed World Bank that truly will control how much is printed and divvied out.
Because nations act as firewalls to all sorts of problems and contagion. Imagine if there had been a world government with a Hitler at the head of it. What could have happened through something like that. That's why I think it's really going to be hard, even if the globalists engineer this nuclear war, to really try to get this planetary system. It's just so hard to do.
Yeah, and that's why I say I don't think it really will be a true democratic hierarchy of committee-type running thing. I think the Fed and the powers that be in the Western society will control this organization, and they will simply do what the Fed says, and they'll have the cover of it being under a global currency now instead of the ugly dollar. So if they do this, the only way they're going to get there without destroying the dollar probably is to get to something, and I think that's conceivable, get something above 10, somewhere in that 20% range, whereby people are really hurting, and they'll put us in a hurt locker in terms of a recession. So people will cry out for the need for a new currency. It'll only take 15 to 20% inflation rate to do that, I think.
But let's expand on that, because in this system, they're really just talking about a new digital layer of SDR beyond QE3 that countries then contribute to, and then you'll still have your regional currency. What they're really saying is they're going to roll out, and already when we ship United States Postal Service packages overseas, because we have an account with them, it's in SDRs. We're paying U.S. dollars, but it's converted to an SDR. And what I see is this is almost like a universal product code, just identifier. It's just creating a clearinghouse for money worldwide. And a lot of economists I've talked to say the German takeover of the New York Stock Exchange is part of them trying to unify the system.
It may well be a transition system, but I think SDRs are merely a transition. The point is the rest of the nations of the world are not going to be satisfied until the Fed gets out of the business of being able to inflate the dollar. And we know they're not going to get out of the business of inflating money, but they're probably going to eventually want to have an excuse to trade, exchange the dollar in for something, a world currency, so that they can operate under the cover of a new currency, which won't appear to be controlled by them, but I think it will be completely controlled.
Sure, so they put out an alternative, make sure it has some value, kind of trendy, hard to get at first, and then, I've got to have it, and kind of roll it out with the Christmas toy syndrome that everybody's got to get.
Yeah, and they'll say it's gold back, just like they say the euro's gold back, but it won't be gold. And unless it's redeemable, and the actual paper currency says redeemable in so many ounces of gold, it's not gold backed.
Absolutely. Joel, let's jump now to your view on what's happening in the Middle East, North Africa, how this fits into the larger stratagem, and then your take on what Lindsey Williams has been saying.
Well, it's very, very clear that there's something being provoked in the Middle East. The whole region is inflamed, and it looks like it's spreading rather than contracting. And this dovetails very interestingly with Representative Peter King holding these congressional hearings on the Muslim terrorism threat. On my way to my office today, I was listening to Diane Rehm, and, she has the typical establishment people on there massaging this topic. And one of the callers came in, very well-spoken, and said very flat out, she said, look, most of the Muslim extremists that we've had in terrorist attacks have been by virtue of agent provocateurs from the FBI inside. And, you could have heard a pin drop on the radio, and she made many other statements about this whole hearing is supposedly targeting, about creating an enemy that doesn't really exist. And she passed this around to the audience, and they just changed the subject. Not a single person would address what came right out all across the nation.
That's the big tell. They didn't rebuke it or say it was even ridiculous now. They just want to act like it doesn't exist.
That's right. It doesn't exist. But it deserved a discussion because this whole hearing is meant to completely trump up this Muslim threat once again in the American people. I am very, very displeased to see Glenn Beck jumping on this bandwagon as well. It shows that he's really got establishment influence in there where he's pumping.
Well, he's been told if he doesn't get more on board, and this is from inside, I can't say much more. He's been told if he doesn't get more on board, he's gone when his contract's up in about, 8-9 months. But I'm going to shut up right there. Joel, expanding on this situation then, I see it as a major signpost that they're really hyping the Muslim terror threat, that they may be moving into false flag territory. And we've seen all these White House advisors say, man, a terror attack would sure help the president. Please continue.
Well, we're looking at, first of all, let's go back to the Egypt situation. It's very clear that the powers that be had insiders within the Mubarak regime, and they were destabilizing them from inside as well as fomenting this so-called spontaneous protest in Iran. Nothing of this was protest. It's now coming out very clearly that these people were bussed in and shipped in. There were provocations that got... I mean, that isn't to say that there aren't millions of people in each of these countries that long to have some form of democratic freedom. I personally don't think that any Arab nation in the world will ever have it because of the tribal mentality and the strongman leadership that Arabs look to tell them how to vote and how to do things. That's not saying that there aren't a small percentage of very highly educated Western-influenced Arabs that really would like and be able to perform well within democracy, but I don't think it's possible within... In fact, there isn't today, Alex, a single Arab nation that is a true constitutionally limited democracy. They're all the pretense of voting, but strongman government. Now, with that said, Mubarak was taken out, or in the process of taking him out, you notice the Muslim Brotherhood has risen by the press as the primary opposition leader.
And as the good guys when they're admittedly run by British intel.
That's right. And my contacts in Egypt said, Muslim Brotherhood, we never hear from the Muslim Brotherhood. They're nothing here in Egypt. These people are just a small fringe group. They don't have any numbers. I mean, this is a fraud. That's what normal Egyptians feel like. They feel incensed that the Western media pumped up the Muslim Brotherhood as the major opposition, and then threw out, El Baradei as the former, head of the International Nuclear Energy Commission as the sudden leader, flies into there, and I mean, this was just...
Well, he flew in a week before it all started. I mean, this was all staged.
It was all political theater. But what was really telling, of course, was when the military announced to the protesters that tomorrow Mubarak is going to resign, and on the next day Mubarak gets on television and says, I'm not resigning, completely adamant, I'm going to stay in power until September. And then the very next day, a military spokesman comes up and announces, Mubarak doesn't announce, but a spokesman announces Mubarak has resigned. The next day after that, he's in a coma. Now,
and our media never says, where is he? Is he even alive? Have they drugged him? It's just, okay, let's move along now.
That's exactly right. I mean, Mubarak has never made a public showing since that time. And, this is this coma syndrome I'm talking about, and Gaddafi sees this and says, I'm not going out peacefully. I know what happens to people when they go out.
Well, Mr. Skousen, Joel, the head of Tunisia in Saudi Arabia had a little coma. As you said, let's come back and talk about the larger geopolitical reason the globalists are triggering this now. We'll be right back. And then your phone calls for 15 minutes of the next hour. Hi, this is Alex Jones. Did you know that the global elite are now storing non-hybrid seeds in secret storage vaults near the Arctic Circle? Did you know that in a real meltdown, non-hybrid seeds can become more valuable than silver or gold? It's true, seeds have outperformed even gold and silver before in this country, and it's possible that could even happen again. So our friends at Solutions from Science have put together the perfect mix of non-hybrid seeds. They call it a survival seed bank, and it can produce an endless supply of nutrient-dense food for you and your family. And here's the best part. These seeds have not been genetically modified in any way, and you actually get enough seeds to plant a full-acre crisis garden. So visit them today at survivalseedbank.com. That's survivalseedbank.com, or give them a call at 877-327-0365. That's 877-327-0365. Remember, in a real crisis, non-hybrid seeds are the ultimate barter item. This is Alex Jones for survivalseedbank.com.
This message starts with a great offer from Big Berkey Water Filters, because we don't want you drinking dangerous water 1 minute longer. Right now, purchase any filter system from BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com to get your choice of 2 Berkey Sport bottles, a KDF shower filter, a set of fluoride filters, or our new sight glass spigot absolutely free. Why do this? Because over 60% of municipal water is fluoridated, and at less than 2 cents per gallon, Berkey Water Filters purify both treated and untreated water, removing dangerous chlorine, fluoride, and other contaminants. Big Berkey water filters are powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water, so they're perfect for rainwater collection systems and emergency preparedness. Remember, Big Berkey includes free shipping on every order over $50, and GCN listeners get 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Visit BIGBERKEY waterfilters.com or call 877-99-BERKEY. That's BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com or call today 1-877-99-BERKEY.
Most of us eat a blend of processed, man-made, and all-natural food. But the food you eat may not provide all the nutrition your body needs. We now know that liquid vitamin supplements are absorbed faster than pills. That's why you need Sea Energy from AffinitySeaEnergy.com. Sea vegetation is known to be the richest source of organic minerals, and that's what you'll find in all-natural, great-tasting Sea Energy. Sea Energy contains aloe vera, black cherry, cranberry, and pomegranate juices, plus ginseng, cat's claw, ginger, ginkgo biloba, and over 50 trace minerals needed for healthy metabolism, all from natural organic sea plant sources. Get a 10% discount by using promo code GCN at checkout when you order Sea Energy from AffinitySeaEnergy.com. Call 855-732-3637. That's 855-732-3637. Or go to AffinitySeaEnergy.com today.